Mods can add a ton of features to Stardew Valley and really enhance the game, and currently there are tons of them out there. Whether it's something to farm the inside of your house, marry every single spouse at the same time, or something else, there's something out there for everyone. Some of these mods I've actually grown to use and like so much that I don't really ever play without them anymore. So today we're going to be looking at the top mods for 2018. Starting off the list is a mod you may or may not have seen me use before. I mostly use it in the background and it's essential for making videos. And this was one of those mods I had made specifically for me, and that's the Time Skipper mod. By simply pressing Z, we bring up the menu. From here we can skip anywhere from 1 day to 3 years. We also have the option to skip to the next rainy day, the next event in town, or the next night event such as a meteor or crop fairy. This one is especially good for those of us that have played a little ways into the game and don't necessarily need to play every single day grinding through every little thing. One of my favorite parts about it is when you're done for the day, all you need to do is press Z and skip the day. It's that easy. No teleporting back to your house, no walking anywhere, no crawling into bed. You just wake up the next morning. Now I should note, the time skipping is not instant. You don't skip 5 days and wake up 5 days later. You do have to skip through the 5 days, though it is still a lot faster and easier than running back and forth and selecting sleep again. And trust me, that gets old fast. This way I can just set it to skip and keep an eye on it while I research my stupid ideas. Next is a mod that always surprises me as to how few people really know about it. It's the tractor mod. I've used this one a lot over the years and it continues to be updated and still useful. Until something better comes out, this is going to be my go-to mod for planting and doing pretty much anything in the game. Once installed, you can have the tractor barn built by Robin. It's not cheap, but it is worth it. This basically takes the tediousness out of doing any of the crops, because after doing so many of those, you don't really want to do it by hand anymore. Simply jump on your tractor, drive it around with the appropriate tool selected. Once your field is clear of grass and debris, start hoeing. It also increases your magnetic radius, that way anything you do hoe up or debris you clear will be sucked into you. The radius around it is adjustable if you go into its configuration menu. I like to go with about 10 just because it's a huge area. By default it's 3 or 4, which is still way easier and faster than doing it all by hand. Think of this as a horse, but a more useful horse. Plus you can summon it to basically any location in the game. It works great for mining. You can clear out the rocks much faster. The next mod is a feature that I think down the road they might actually eventually implement into the vanilla game itself. And that's the Stack Everything mod. This is one I started using just recently and I really wish I'd started years ago because it would have made a lot of my ideas a lot easier to do. Plus this is one that doesn't change the game in any major way, it just makes things a little bit easier to do. Basically it makes any item stackable in your inventory, that way you don't have to lay them out one by one in your backpack and scroll between them every time you want to place them again. Then of course you can only fit 12 in your toolbar, so once you do 12 you've got to move them all around in your menu. Instead you can just do it like this. Which probably isn't a big deal for a lot of us, but anyone who wants to lay down a lot of machines at once, well, this makes it so much easier. It's probably honestly about 10 times faster by my guesstimation. For example, I've always wanted to fill the world with crystallariums or something similar. I've just never bothered because it was going to be so much work, but using this mod, it actually turns into a pretty easy idea and something you'll see pretty soon. Another one I've really grown to love and enjoy is the No Clip mod. By simply pressing X, I can walk anywhere on the map. While this may not be the most helpful mod for farming, it is just a lot of fun to explore the map or move around a little bit quicker and easier. Plus, it's surprising how often you see something outside of the map that piques your curiosity and you want to go and take a closer look at it. Plus, you'd actually be surprised at how many things there are hiding outside of the regular map. And even just to reach people you can't normally talk to but do have a dialogue box. Hi. Amazing what you can find. Okay, well how about one that's a little more involved where you can really do some crazy ideas? I'm talking about the Automate mod, which basically allows you to make everything automatic. Basically what it does is it breaks the world of Stardew Valley down into a grid. You might notice the garbage cans are a red square. That would usually indicate that they have a function, but they don't have any function to do because they're red. However, if you put a chest nearby, the squares would turn green. Anytime you have a red square, it needs a chest because it's trying to put its contents into a chest. Now every single day, the contents of that garbage can will empty into that chest. Sit back and wait, collect it every day, collect it every year, don't ever collect it again if you want to. And with this one, you can really get crazy. Can't put a chest anywhere or want to move it somewhere else? Well, you can use different flooring as connectors. Simply connect it with stone flooring the way I've got it set up, and that works. Every day, the garbage can will empty into that chest. And this works with just about anything you can imagine in Stardew Valley. This mod adds so much that it almost changes the game entirely. at least the farming and crafting aspect of it. Let's take a look at how the crab pots would work. I recently did a video on these, so I'm actually something of an expert for 5 minutes. Crab pots sit on the edge of the water and catch stuff every day, but they need bait to work, which is where a worm bin comes in handy. A worm bin produces bait every day, so it's automatically going to put its bait into the crab pot. But then the crab pot has nowhere to put its stuff, so we'll give it a chest. But the crab pot also potentially catches garbage. A recycling machine will turn garbage into something useful, and then it will be deposited into the chest. One neat little circuit. And as long as the things are touching, they'll all work together in a circuit. It doesn't matter what order they're in, as long as they're touching, they'll figure it out for themselves. One way a lot of people do utilize this is with the kegs and casks in your cellar. That way all you need to do is put your crops into the chest. From there, the keg will automatically pull them out and turn them into wine, and then the cask will pull them from there and age them. Once it's done, it will put it back in the chest and start the next one automatically. For example, we've got a spare starfruit lying around. Well, let's throw it in the chest. Directly, it goes into the keg and starts its process. So you could have a full basement setup of this, and it would make you a lot of money, and all you need to do is grow the crops and put it in that chest and then forget about it. Come back in 3 months, whatever it's going to take to get that fully aged, make a fortune. This mod pairs nicely with the Stack Everything mod because obviously you can set down a lot of casks or kegs pretty effortlessly. And I would suggest this one to people who have played a lot of the game already and are kind of bored of what you can regularly do. This way you can set up a whole giant automatic operation, and it's actually a lot of fun to do and play with, the different things you can do. Next, we're going to look at a mod that's been around for quite a while, but still has to be on this list because it's still one of the very top mods for 2018. And that is the CJB Cheats Menu. I won't go into this one in too great of detail because a lot of you have already seen it, but just press P to bring it up and it gives you a list of different things it can do. It can affect your player, infinite health, stamina, one hit kill is interesting, max daily luck is very helpful, and it can add you money and casino coins, which isn't the biggest deal because other mods can do better. Things like durable fences, instant build, auto feed hay, and infinite hay are very helpful for around the farm for taking some of those little chores out of the way. I've never actually messed with the fishing stuff. A lot of this I believe is newer. Tackle lasts forever, always find treasure chest, that could be fun. Always throw max distance, instant bite, instant catch. That would take the fun out of fishing, but it would make it, well, easy. It can make all of your machines basically instantly process. You can boost your skills one at a time all the way up to level 10, and you can also pick the perks, every perk for level 5 and level 10. Want to control the weather tomorrow? Well, we've got you covered. One that I play with a lot, give gifts anytime, is handy when you need dialogue. No friendship decay means you don't need to continually talk to them or give them gifts. They will always remain at whatever heart level you give them. It's handy for warping around the world wherever you want to go. It has a menu so you can change what time in the day it is. You can also freeze time inside, outside, or everywhere. Also, the quest is something that's so new that I've never really even taken a look at it. Apparently, it just completes the quests for you. And then the controls you don't want to overlook. It's not just setting the controls of the menu itself, it actually has a few extra features here like grow crops. Press O to grow your crops instantly. Cursor over them, you can do 9 at a time. The CJB Cheats menu is huge for someone like me who makes a lot of content on Stardew Valley. Without it, some ideas would take so long that they might even be impossible. You want an example of that? Look at some of my earlier videos and the stupid stuff I actually had to grind out over many hours to make a video with a mediocre result. While we're on the topic of the CJB items, we should check out the item spawner. Again, you've probably seen this one before or at least know about it, but it exists and it is super handy and amazing. As you may have guessed, it has every item in the game, including the 3 weird statues you can find somewhere out there in the world. Basically, you need it, it has it. Search for it down below in the bar or just scroll through and see what you can find. Interestingly enough, there are some items you can't normally get multiples of or get at all. You want 999 golden pumpkins? Great, go put those all over your house. I actually really like this one for decorating. You go to the decorating tab, you can just see a whole bunch of things all at once for when you want to redo your house or your farm. Every item you could possibly want all in one neat little area. Interestingly enough, there are some items you can't normally get multiples of or get at all. You want 999 golden pumpkins? Great, go put those all over your house. Artifact spot? How did this get into your inventory? Ape made a boo-boo. It's just fun sometimes to look through the things that aren't supposed to be here or maybe were implemented in the game at one time but no longer are. There are also a ton of weapons that were never implemented into the game. Elliot's pencil, Haley's iron. It seems like a lot of the NPCs, the marriage candidates, had weapons of their own that just never quite made it. The next one I want to talk about is the only multiplayer mod I'm going to cover in this video because I'm going to do a separate video entirely for multiplayer mods down the road. But this is the community farm. It basically gives you a giant farm layout of approximately 24,000 farmable spaces. That is about 6 times your regular farm. I'm adding this to the list because it was a great idea. It adds a lot to multiplayer. Automatically, right away, you can play with more than 4 players. I think I currently have 13 players on this farm. We're slowly working away at it because it is enormous. And I really like having this big map. It seems to give multiplayer a little more purpose again. Because normally when you play multiplayer, it's a lot easier to accomplish all the tasks with 3-4 people working on them. But if you give yourself this giant farm space to work on, well, suddenly you all have something to do every single day, and it's fun to try and accomplish it all together. This is the only mod on the list that requires another mod to make it work, but they're both very easy to drag and drop. This is the community farm, then you need the MTN mod too. This drag and drop, and this one works. Very, very easy to install and use. And it's so big in fact that I can't even find my greenhouse. There we have it. These were my best mods through 2018. But don't forget, there's still a ton of other great mods out there that I've probably never even seen. I honestly don't look through the mods as often as I should, and I'm sure there's a ton of other great ones out there, maybe some that are even better than these ones. If there are, do let me know. I also didn't cover any mods that change the appearance of the game because I never really use them. Down the road, I might look into them and make a video on those ones. But for now, these just had to be my pick because they're my favorite to use and the ones I use most often. Let me know your favorites down below. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.